What's going on, guys? My name is Kinross. On YouTube, I go by Kenny Games. Welcome back to episode number 2 of the MUTCAST. Today, we're joined by a really special guest. I'm really excited about this one. Ben, aka SWIFTMadden, is a Madden YouTuber and content creator known for his coin-making tips, no money spent gameplay, and other various guides teaching his subs how to successfully build their Madden Ultimate teams. He's been creating on YouTube since 2016, but really saw an explosion of growth back in October of 2019, growing over 3,200 subscribers in just 1 month. Swift is actually from Canada, but is a diehard Saints fan despite his many public frustrations with Taysom Hill. Outside of Madden, he's a junior year college student studying business, and after graduation, he's looking to pursue YouTube full time. He says, hopefully. Swift, thanks so much for coming on, man. We're glad to have you.
No worries. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Just ready to get to know you a little bit, learn more about you, about your channel. And first off, when we talked to CC, I thought it was great to learn kind of how he started with video games, and that's also something I wanted to hear from you. What made you interested in video games to begin with, and then how did you turn to Madden down the road?
Yeah, so for me, starting with video games obviously started pretty natural. It actually started off with Madden and watching football. So from Canada, people don't really play football a ton, but for some reason in my elementary school, every single recess we'd play football or ball hockey. Those were really the two ways to go. So we all played football in elementary school, basically every single recess, and then I transitioned to Madden. Honestly, right as I think Xbox 360 came out. I know the first Madden I played on was Xbox 360, which was, I think, the one with Peyton Hillis on the cover. I could be wrong. So that might have been Madden 12, I'm pretty sure it was.
Oh, that was so long ago.
Yeah, that was the first one. I remember I was just rocking in career mode with Ben Port dominating as a running back on the Jags for some reason. They wanted me. But yeah, so that'd probably be where I started off with video games, and Madden was Madden 12, and then just basically played every Madden since, I'm pretty sure, which is it's pretty good. And then yeah, kind of random that I started off with football though, to be honest with you. From Canada, there's not really that many people that like watch football or like football. It was just my elementary school for some reason. We got into it, and then luckily enough, continued playing Madden and then started making videos on it. So yeah.
So there's a couple of things that you said there. One, you play on PlayStation now, don't you?
Yeah, started off with Xbox 360, and then everyone else went to PS4. All my friends were on PS4. I had to transition.
You went to the dark side, man. You should have stayed on the Xbox side of things.
I don't know about that one, but maybe that's a discussion for another time.
So I'm curious about how you became a Saints fan, because not only, I mean, it's interesting to hear that kind of just randomly your elementary school was interested in football, and obviously football is like the best elementary school kind of playground game to play, maybe besides like Foursquare. That was always really fun too, or like wall ball or something like that. But how did you become a Saints fan? What got you interested in the Saints?
Well, like from Canada, obviously it's kind of like a pick your team type of thing. I'm from Vancouver, so that's pretty close to Seattle for those of you that don't know where that is. I'm assuming most of you guys probably don't. For some reason, my subscribers think Canada is like some foreign country. Like I say I'm from Canada and people are like, "Oh, where's that?" It's like it's right above you. Let's settle down. But yeah. So I'm from Vancouver, so that's about like a 30-minute drive from Seattle. So a lot of people are Seahawks fans. But right as I started liking football, I mean, it's kind of like a pick your team type of thing. And as I started liking it, I think that's like a year or two after the Saints won the Super Bowl. And I vividly remember playing this like iPhone game on my phone, like a football iPhone game, like free trial. You could only be the Saints or the Colts. I picked the Saints. And since I rocked with them on that football team, it's gone from, I guess, playing on that app to becoming a diehard fan. So kind of a random transition how that started. But I guess it was kind of pick your team. I saw them on there. So I was like, I guess I'll start liking them. And then yeah, blossomed into a love-hate relationship.
you could be a Seahawks fan. You could have Russell Wilson as your guy.
I know.
I mean, you still have a first ballot Hall of Famer on the Saints, even if he does have a noodle arm now. But
okay, we'll see how this week goes.
I'm a Bears fan, and after that very poor Monday night showing, maybe I shouldn't be throwing stones from a glass house, right? I think that's something like the saying.
Yeah, we got you guys this week, so we'll see how.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is even more perfect now that we're doing that.
I know. Yeah, that's what I was thinking before we hopped on. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that football does seem to get into Canada a little bit more. I know, like obviously the NFL is trying to expand overseas to Europe and everything, but there's definitely room for expansion here. Like I know TD Barrett. I think he's from Canada, right? And he's obviously a big.
I'd
NFL
actually talked
fan.
to him before. He's right. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
He lives like 45 minutes away from where I go to school right now, so that's kind of cool.
Okay,
But yeah,
very cool.
just threw that
So
in.
so let's talk about YouTube, man, because it's strange
Oh,
enough,
cool.
I think, that you became an NFL fan and then you become a Madden fan, and that's kind of like your go-to game. But what made you start wanting to post YouTube videos and actually go out and get that capture card or that microphone or that camera or whatever it is, and really dive into YouTube?
Yeah, so for me, it was definitely, like I said, watch football and stuff like that. Transition to watching Madden YouTubers, and there was really only one I can vividly say I remember watching like religiously, and that was IMAV. I'm assuming you've probably watched him or have heard of him. But I remember like even in high school, at the start of high school, I would like wait like for every single Saturday and every single Wednesday when you had those MUT Wars episodes, like the midweek and the regular one on Saturday. So it was just watching a lot of him for sure is what like got me into Madden YouTube and kind of like the space. And then me and my one friend that really liked watching him, we were like, you know what? Why don't we try and do this ourselves and like start a channel? It seemed like a lot of fun. So this was in 2016, like you said. I would have been in grade 10 or 11, and me and my buddy started off the channel Swift, and we didn't really post that consistently on it. It was like maybe every other couple of days. We didn't have any good equipment. We literally just used like a USB. You can record the gameplay with a USB on PS4. We were using the built-in microphone on our laptops. It was a $0 upfront investment. And it didn't really work all that well. Obviously, we sounded like 12-year-old girls, so that definitely didn't help either. But yeah, we tried for I think a year and a half posting decently consistently, a few times a week. It didn't really work out, and then we went off to university and kind of stopped the channel there. And I was like, okay, I guess YouTube didn't work. I'm done with trying it. All of first year, didn't really think about it. I didn't even get Madden in first year because I was too busy. It was the first year I'd missed a Madden. I remember that. And then starting off second year, I was like, you know what? Let me try it. Let me just try and get back on and see what I can do. And I wrote down in my phone, I wasn't really concerned about the subscribers. I wasn't really concerned about the views. I just wanted to post 100 videos in 100 days and see what happened. And then, like you said, in October of last year, that was when I had some really big growth. So that would have been about like 70 of 100 videos. And yeah, from then it's just been a blessing, to be honest with you, the growth.
So really your channel started as a group effort. It wasn't just you. This was like way
Yeah.
back when you first started. It was you and a friend
Yeah.
that was posting.
Yeah, me and my friend Gavin were posting. Shout out to him. And then we didn't really grow that much. I think we grew a good amount, but we got to like 3,000 subscribers like really quickly for some reason. And then from then on, it was like I think a year and a half, and we'd only gained like 1,000 subscribers. We were going to university, and we were just like, okay, like we don't have the time for this. It's not growing that well. It's not worth it. And then yeah, I just came back and comeback player of the year.
Yeah, I guess so. It seems like you took like almost like a different path though, in a sense, because I feel like a lot of people when they first want to start posting, they look at the biggest people in the space. They look at like the MMGs or the TD Barretts, and those guys obviously focus on their gameplay. And so it seemed like I was looking back at some of the old videos on your channel, and they were still focused on the how to almost guide aspect of Madden, which I think is pretty interesting that that's immediately where your mind went. So I'm just curious, what led you to wanting to post how-to and guides and helpful videos as opposed to the gameplay entertainment side, which can be really tough to grow in, obviously.
Yeah, well, for me, a lot of it was like kind of studying what works and watching a lot of other like I'm sure you've watched some of them. Probably basically anyone who's a small YouTuber is like search it up, how to get your first 100 subscribers or how to get your first 1,000 subscribers, and a lot of them will say you need to like make content that's pretty searchable. So I think that posting tip videos and stuff like that is definitely a lot more searchable, so it can help a lot at the start of a channel. And then we kind of just went down that path. And for me now, like what I'm posting on my channel, I think the most fun part of Ultimate Team for me is like building my team and picking my players and building the best team possible, most effective team, and stuff like that. So then I kind of just am happy to share tips about that now. I prefer building my team than playing the game. So I'm happy to make videos on that now. And then that's kind of what I was like as well when I started off. So it was kind of just making videos on what I like the most. And it was helpful that was really searchable content as well, I would say.
Yeah, there's really this like totally different aspect to MUT, which I think a lot of people outside of the game or people that don't play any sort of Ultimate Team, like whether it be FIFA or MLB or Madden, they're like, they just don't understand how you could spend so much time grinding to build a team, like whether it be solo challenges or how, people will come on stream and they'll say, this is so boring. Like, how do you just sit on the auction house and snipe these cards? It's like, this is my own little mini game. Like, this is what I enjoy doing, the building the team aspect. I've personally never been the best Madden player in the world, and I think my videos will a lot of times reflect that, my lack of skill or expertise in the game. But there's almost like this additional mini game to it, where like building your team, it kind of is its own game, I think.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think that we're kind of lucky in Madden Ultimate Team. I think that looking at some of the other modes, like I've played Hockey Ultimate Team, and I think I've seen some of my friends playing like the baseball one. Ours is actually like pretty good, to be honest with you, in comparison to some of the other products out there for sports Ultimate Teams. Yeah, I would say so. But then obviously like YouTube is a mini game in itself. That's
Yeah, and
doing both.
people seem to want coin making methods like every single day. So let's go back to when you started to see success on YouTube. And it's kind of interesting that when you went off to university, you stopped with YouTube. I was in a similar kind of boat. I used to be a Call of Duty guy, and I posted Call of Duty videos, and I had a channel a long time ago, like in 2011 ish. And I had built that up. I had worked really hard on it. And then I go off to school in 2014, and I just completely abandoned it. Everything I had done for like 4 years that I had been working on it. And so you give it a break. You thought it wasn't working. You come back, and things start to pick up, and they pick up really, really quickly. So what did you think of that kind of instant, I don't want to say instant success. Of course, it took a lot of hard work, daily videos, all the grind that goes into that. But what was kind of going through your head when you started to realize that, oh shit, this might actually be working. This might actually be something that I can try to turn into something bigger.
Yeah, for me, it was honestly just like happiness. I was so happy to see the success after not like so long. Obviously, there's people that have worked harder than me and tried for longer, but I feel like it had been a long time coming. So I was really happy to see the success. And then I kind of used that as a bit of motivation. Like, okay, I'm lucky to be in this spot. Now let me continue to grow. And then I continue to use that as motivation. And then as I continued to grow, I think my like mindset on it kind of shifted a little bit. At the start, it was all about, okay, how can I grow my channel? How can I get to a place where I can like see some success and then potentially do this after school? Now I feel like I've shifted more to like trying to make the experience better for my viewers and like trying to build a community of people and like impact as many people positively as I can. Because obviously at the start you're trying to grow the channel, but once you like have some growth, you can kind of shift that mindset because your videos, like, not whatever I post is going to do well. That sounds really arrogant, but like I can post a video and be confident it's going to do decent. So I don't have to worry about that a ton anymore. So now I feel like I can more try and be as positive as possible in my videos, try and build a community of as many people as I can. So it's kind of shifted now, but at the start, it was just, I was so happy that it was growing. And then I just used that as motivation to post every single day and stuff like that. But yeah.
At the start, it's very like, how do I reach new people? And then when did you start to see that shift of, okay, I've got a decent amount of people here that seem to be coming back and seem to like what I'm putting out. Now let's try to turn it into a community. At what point do you think that change started to happen?
I think for me, that was around, I want to say like December of last year. That's when I really, before that, I didn't start streaming or anything like that. But December of last year, I must have been at around 20,000 subscribers. I want to say the channel was moving pretty nicely. And then I started streaming. I replied to literally every single DM I got from that point on. So it was just like trying to interact with as many people as I possibly could that supported me. And yeah, I would say in December at around 20K subs. And when I started streaming, that was when I kind of flipped that, not really like a switch. Like obviously my videos are still almost the same, I would say, with like better production and maybe a bit better entertainment in some parts of them. But I would say my mindset on it kind of shifted around December with like 20K subs probably.
That's so quick, man. Just thinking that you were at what, like 3,000 subscribers, 4,000 subscribers in October. And then by December you were at 20K. That's just a crazy growth to kind of like fathom. I feel like no one grows on YouTube that quickly. No one has that much success that quickly. So yeah, it's just crazy. Did you see yourself like start to level off as the football season ended?
Oh, most certainly. Actually, it lasted a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. Right when football stopped, I thought it was going to really start to go down. But I feel like since the virus, it actually kind of left it afloat a little bit longer. I feel like it was only really that bad for like 3 months, I want to say. I thought it would have been a lot longer, but I would say like 2 or 3 months it wasn't the greatest. And at that point I was actually like, okay, the views aren't that good. I'm not really that worried about how well these videos are going to do. I was like, let me try and get my editing better. And that's when I actually tried to learn to edit a little bit more, I would say, around then. Now,
when did it turn to a point where you figured like this might be something that you can pursue full time even once you're finished with your degree?
I would say I saw the opportunity. Like I was like, okay, if I continue to go down this path, there's an opportunity. In like December, I know that's really early. That's when I had only 20K subs, but it's kind of that was when I was like, okay, if I continue to grow like this, like I am right now, there's no reason why I can't. And in the back of my head, as I even started when I was at 3K subs, starting again, my initial goal was, okay, can I get to 100K subscribers? If I can get to 100K subscribers, then I can convince my mom I can go full time. And that was always like the goal. And I think getting to 100K would put me in a place where I definitely would be able to go full time. So then, yeah, that initial growth, or that really decently big growth, I guess you could say, in December when I got to 20K, that's when I was like, okay, maybe if I continue down this path, there's a chance. And then obviously it's still gone pretty well. I think I'm at 65, 66 right now. So yeah, definitely on the path, and I have a lot of time to be able to get to 100K. I still have like 1.5 years left in school. So if I can get there by the end of graduation, it'll just be a dream come true. Like ever since I started watching IMAV, I was like, I want to do this afterwards. My other friend that was in it with me wasn't as dedicated. I will definitely say I was a bit more dedicated to it. I had that like vision from the start, and then now that it could come true is just awesome. But yeah, that little bit of growth at the start is when I think I thought I had a chance.
That conversation with your parents has got to be an interesting one. Like even back in the day when I was talking to my parents about how I got partnered with I can't even remember what they called. It's like, you know how like Machinima Respawn was like an entity of Machinima, which was a separate YouTube partner program. It wasn't a partner through YouTube, it was a partner through Machinima. Yeah. Like everyone
back when they had all those like partnerships, right? Yeah, I remember that.
Exactly. Yeah, and all these networks started popping up, and the one that I went with, because it was the only one I could get partnered with at the time, was called Yoush. That was what it was called. YEOUSCH, I think it was called. I don't think it's around anymore.
Sounds a little sus.
It was a little sus. I don't think it was like sus in sense of like they were ripping me off, which they actually kind of were, looking back at the contract that I signed. But I remember having my mom look at that contract, and at the time I was like 16 years old. I'm just thinking like, oh my gosh, I can finally prove to my mom that I can like do something out of this, all the hundreds of hours that I put into this channel. And that was when I was making like not even enough to afford a Taco Bell meal from it. And so it's got to be like a nerve-wracking conversation. I mean, do your parents support it? If you can get to that 100K, are they like, yeah, go for it? Are they really pushing you to still go out and get a big boy job like the rest of us have to?
Well, I mean, they wouldn't let me drop out of school. Obviously, I'm not planning on doing that. So as long as I finish school and like get my degree, I think I would have a backup option with that. So I think that they'd be supportive of it for sure. Obviously, at the start, like in December, when I told my mom and my dad that I was like, oh, this is actually like working, I can make a little bit of money off of this, I'm starting to grow the channel, they didn't believe it. Obviously, they thought like, okay, he's making like $10, I bet, a month or something like that. But now, like, since the channel's grown a bit more, I think they do kind of believe that there's definitely a chance. Like, I'm pretty open with them with like, if I make money off it and stuff like that. Definitely with my dad as well, because he's into, or like he has a little bit of a business that he runs. So I think my dad would be for it. My mom would be skeptical, but I think she would definitely let me do it, especially since I would have my degree by then, and I would have like a bit of a backup option if like in case the channel falls off or something like that. Even though that's something that I'm really like interested by. Like I don't think on YouTube have we seen that many people that have like started, grown, and like stopped or like had to retire. I don't know how that works, to be honest with you, because it's so new.
Yeah, I don't think we've really reached that kind of area yet. I'm sure like PewDiePie will be the first one to eventually stop when he just has so much money he literally doesn't know what to do with it anymore.
Yeah, literally.
But we're definitely not there yet. That was always my parents' question is, cool, like even if you could make a ton of money, what's the long-term goal on this? Because you're not you're not just working for 3 years. How long is this going to last? And I think that makes that conversation probably even a little bit harder.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like an athlete a little bit. Like nowadays, like for like a couple of reasons, like because it could end so quickly, right? Mm-hmm. And it seems like a lot of kids nowadays, like honestly, want to be YouTubers and content creators more than they want to be athletes. So it seems like it's kind of, I don't know. I see a lot of similarities between those two.
No, I think that's totally fair, and it's probably almost as difficult. I mean, there are definitely different skill sets to it, but it's so freaking competitive. Sure. nowadays, even though back in 2010 people said it's too saturated to get started, and then obviously a bunch of people got started. Yeah. And then in 2014 they said it's too saturated to get started, and then people got started anyways. And now people are saying it's too saturated to get started. But honestly, like, fuck that. Just if you want to start posting videos, post videos.
I started watching this guy. I don't know if you know his name. His name's Arak. I don't know if you've seen him on YouTube. I
don't think I've seen him, no.
He started this year with like, I don't know. I think he just started his channel and he's already at like 650K. It was, which is crazy. But his video, watch his videos after. They're really well done.
Yeah, I mean, some people just have like a natural talent. I mean, I thought like the skills of planning and video editing and photoshopping thumbnails and like doing all that stuff, I think those were just generally good skills to have. And it actually introduced me to photography and videography and things that I could tell my parents of more like the real life kind of side of things when they just weren't buying into the video game thing. And I still work full time. I mean, it's not like I'm a YouTuber by any means. This is something I do as a hobby right now, but it's I'm curious what your friends thought of you starting. Like, was that something that they, you know, gave you shit for? Was that something that they supported from the beginning? You know, what did those conversations look like?
That's an interesting one. I would say that none of my friends were really like against it or really gave me shit for it. Me and my good friend, like I said, who started it, we only told one of our other really good friends at the start. So not really anyone knew. And then, I mean, I think we ended up
afraid of people finding out at the start.
Like, I don't know. It was weird. I wasn't like afraid of people finding out. If someone found out, I wouldn't have been like upset by it. And someone actually did end up finding out at my high school. He like was watching Madden videos and then he found me, which is kind of funny. But yeah, like I wasn't really afraid of people finding out. It was more like I just didn't really need to tell people because it wasn't really that like big of a deal. Like the channel wasn't really getting that many views. And then once that kid found out at my high school and like started watching one of my videos, like people ended up finding out naturally through him and stuff. And I didn't really care. People would like ask me about it sometimes. Like I would talk to my like good friends about it, obviously. And then since then I haven't really minded, and no one really like gave me shit for it. Maybe like some people, but it's like nothing really that's that big of a deal. And now that it's grown to a point where it's like cooler, I guess you could say, it's like not that it's like cool. I play video games, like I play Madden. Like
I think it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it is. But now I don't really mind if people find out. Like I'll tell people it is what it is. If they come to my room, they're gonna see the whole camera setup. So it's a natural question to ask, and then I don't mind sharing.
That was like my biggest fear starting YouTube, was people finding out about it, people making fun of me, people giving me shit for it. And looking back at it, like people in high school obviously just suck. People are mean as hell in high school, and they'll do pretty much anything to tear you down. I mean, that's just how people are generally in high school. And it wasn't as accepted back then. That was like my biggest fear in posting anything to YouTube. Even though I loved it so much, it was like, what if someone finds out? What if someone, you know, like the girl that I like finds out that I'm posting videos of video games online. Like she's gonna think I'm a nerd, dude. There's no way. True. So that can be tough. Gladly, it's like generally more accepted nowadays. So it might not be the same, but at least then it was tough. I don't know.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that encounter that roadblock nowadays, though. Still, because like it can be tough with like social media and that type of stuff.
So I was looking through your Instagram, and I found a couple of pictures. One is you with Drew Brees, and the other one I think is with, I want to say Cam Jordan. Yeah, dude. How did you meet those guys? That's awesome.
Good stories for both. So for Cam Jordan, that was like some NFL play initiative to like come to Canada or whatever. As you were saying, they actually are trying to expand the game into Canada, which is kind of cool. Cam Jordan. Good. Yeah. So Cam Jordan came to a place, I think like 30 or 45 minutes away from where I live. And I saw it on Instagram actually pretty randomly that he was coming. So me and my friend were like, oh, we should go for sure. I kind of had to convince him he's not a Saints fan. We drove out there. We met him. It was awesome. We got there like right as he was about to leave. So like we were one of the last people to see him. I was super awkward, made some like not weird comments, but like I was just so awkward in conversation. I don't know if you ever met someone that like you look up to like that. It's like you like stutter and you like say something and it's like, okay, like so that was really cool. And then kind of funny story off of that is like, you know how a lot of like famous people or celebrities, they drive around in those like kind of van type of things. I don't know, that's what I would call them, but like a black van type, not a van. I
Do
don't
they
know.
offer kids candy and tell them they have an Xbox inside too?
No.
I
Okay,
have no idea what you're talking about.
it was like a black, like, let's just say it's like whatever they're being driven in, right? Like a black car. And we're on the way back, me and Aaron, my friend Aaron, and we see one of those cars driving, like, or three of them actually. And they had three there. We saw like some big people in it. We were from behind. We are like, let's follow them and see if like they're like going for food, and then we'll check in with them. So we start following them or whatever. And we're kind of on like one of these like side streets. I'm zooming behind them. The light changes to yellow. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to have sushi with these guys. It changes to red. I'm like, okay, I need the sushi with them. And then, yeah, I run through a kind of red light to try and catch up to them. We end up catching up to them like so far out of our way, at least 30 to 45 minutes out of our way. We catch up to them, and it's just these three random dudes in the car. And we're like, okay. So I ran kind of a red light to try and have sushi with Cam Jordan after meeting him, but still got to meet him, which was pretty cool. And then for the Drew Brees story, that one is this was actually really recently. This was the same night that the NBA got shut down. So really lucky that I ended up meeting him. And he was basically coming for an event at like my Jewish community center. I'm Jewish, and one of my friend's dads is like on the board of that. So he ended up getting like tickets for us to come, and then met Drew. It was awesome. Again, super nervous, saying weird things, but it was good to meet both of them. I would say Cam was definitely nicer and easier to talk to and funnier, but Drew was like the GOAT. So that was cool.
That's so awesome. Yeah, meeting celebrities could be oddly terrifying. And, I think I met oh God, there was one story. This is bad. I can't even remember who the guy was that I met, and I'll probably remember it halfway through the story. It's the same way. He was at like the local Y. It was some basketball player for the Bulls a while ago. He was at our local Y, and they were signing stuff, and there was a couple of them there, and I remember literally just walking up to the table. I had to be like 11 or 12 years old, walking up to the table, just looking at him, and just freezing. I said absolutely nothing. They were like asking me how I'm doing, and I'm just like wide-eyed. I like didn't know how to respond and stuff. And then I mean, because these guys are fucking massive. I'm sitting there like 5 foot. They're sitting in chairs, and I can see how tall they are. And then they stand up, and you're literally looking straight up at them. It was fucking terrifying, and I had no idea. So I just froze. So at least I feel like it's better to say dumb stuff than to not say anything at all. So I feel like that situation could have been worse.
That's true. Mind you, when I met Drew Brees, I was taller than him, so
he really is that short, huh? Or are you that tall? Are you secretly like 6'8" and we don't know it?
No, I'm like 6'1", but Drew is like pushing 6 barely, I think. Then Cam, on the other hand, was like a behemoth. He like puts his hand around my shoulder, and it's like I'm being engulfed. Like he's like all the way. Like, I don't know how his hands are so big, but yeah. Both are really awesome, and it's so hard to talk to them. So hard to talk to them because they don't really want to.
Other than the fact that you watch them on TV every Sunday. I mean, like,
yeah. I told Cam that like I went to one of the games. He's like, nice. I was like, good play in that game that I was there. Where he's like, cool. Like, because they don't really want to like talk to you, so you have to say something to like get the conversation, and then it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel that. All right, so. Pretty cool learning about how like where you came from on YouTube and a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. But as this is a Madden podcast, I also want to get your thoughts on the game and like how the year has gone so far. And you've been playing Madden for a while. You've had your fair share of exposure to different ultimate teams. So let's start at the beginning. Lack of content for a while, not much interest in the game, so many bugs going on. How do you feel like EA's handled the launch? Everything from #FixMadden franchise that like broke Twitter for a day to all the way up until like the first content launch. Like what was your thoughts on that? Were you super critical? Were you considered an EA apologist, as people harassed me and said I was? What was going through your head during that?
Yeah, usually I'm not too critical of EA. I honestly don't really usually take a side in these types of things. I kind of just let it play out. That's kind of like my personality. I'm usually pretty chill, like easygoing. There's not really that much I can do about it. Maybe there's a little bit more I can do about it now as like someone with a bit of influence, I guess you could say. But yeah, to start with, like the lack of content was a little bit frustrating just because they hadn't really done anything at the end of Madden 20. And as a YouTuber, you want to see the content because you know that's going to help you with your channel. You're going to enjoy the game more. Like it's as easy as that. You enjoy the game if there's more stuff to do in it. So I was definitely disappointed by the lack of content, but like then again, there's not really that much I can do, and I think they've done a pretty solid job of recovering. I think they did a really good job at the series turnover. I thought they did a really good job then. I generally like all the series turnovers, and then since then, I think it's been fine. I think we get content 5 days a week, if I'm not mistaken, so that's definitely like acceptable, to be honest. The gameplay I thought was really good at the start. I love the passing meta, and I think it still is like a decently heavily passing meta. But in terms of the gameplay, I just wish man coverage was a little bit less crazy. That's like the one thing that I really don't like going against, especially both of us. Like we're no money spent, and then you go up against some guy that has like the best corners in the game. He's got like the best safeties in the game at linebacker, so I can't even run an option route with my running back to beat that. There's almost no way. I'd say that's frustrating, but overall, I think it's been fine. I just wish they communicated with us a little bit better. I feel like that's one issue that's gotten worse. I wish they communicated with us a little bit better, but otherwise, I can't say I have too many complaints. I have a fun time on the game. I play every single day, play some head to head, weekend league. I have a pretty fun time on the game. So I can't complain a ton. Just man coverage and communication for the content would, I guess, be two things that I would want to improve on. But I don't know. What's your opinion on?
I feel like that's where they just drop the ball so much. It's just the lack of transparency and communication. And I tried so hard to stick up for EA through so much of the things that they just straight up messed up on. I felt like they messed up on, or they dropped the ball on, or they weren't transparent enough. But they just they just kept screwing up, man. It was just, it's like you could only stick up for them for so long through so much. And I was in the same boat as you. Like, I didn't take a side, or like I didn't try to say too much on it until like I tried to stick up and be like, well, you know, as a guy who works for a real, you know, a Fortune 500 company, I know how stressful that the switch to remote work has been for some people, and like how big of a change it's been. I was like, let's just try to feel it out. And like they came out with an answer to the Fix Madden franchise stuff, but they haven't implemented any changes. And it seems like the lack of game testing to me has been really an issue. Like I can't even play House Rules right now because it's just so broken, where my game will crash every game if I try to like double team on the line of scrimmage, or, you know, they had like the onside kicks.
There's the onside kick thing.
That were completely glitched in it. It's like they don't test anything they do. And this community is so, I'll say angrily passionate.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird, right? Yeah.
It's like people get so pissed. They get pissed because they love the game and because they want so much out of it. It's not, they don't get pissed because they don't care. Like then no one would get mad at all. And so it's good to see people so passionate about the game, but they're literally just so vulgar in how they give their feedback that they like scared Kralo off Twitter. Like the harassment that he was getting was so bad that he literally had to go private, and then they created the Madden Direct Twitter so that he didn't have to deal with it personally. And it's like people blame him and they shout at him and you know, they still bitch in streams with him and all this stuff. And it's like, it's not his fault, man. It's like there's so much leadership that like he's relaying what we're giving him to the best of his ability, but there's so much bureaucracy in a company like that it's just impossible to make or implement any sort of quick or rapid change. They just won't do it. And then when they do try to change something fast, something that's like affecting their wallets per se, whether it be a coin making method or a glitch, or like they're screwing up pack glitches in the game that just really piss me off as a no money spent player. Like they can change that quickly. So there are things that really bother me about it, and I'm never one to like rant about EA, but the lack of transparency and communication, to me, it just feels like hire someone from the community, dude. Like just hire one of your biggest critics. Not only would that look good if they like brought in Gut Fox and like he was able to talk to them directly, which I'm sure he has connections. I'm sure he's able to talk to them, but publicly say like, hey, we're going to have more direct conversations with content creators. They are the liaisons to the rest of the Madden world. And
that's totally true.
And they make the game for regs, obviously, because it's a Madden game. But then there's so much that they put into Ultimate Team that just isn't, the game just isn't optimized for. And like the man coverage, right? Like you need man coverage that's playable in regs. Otherwise it's all zone 24/7, which is unrealistic. But then when you have really good man coverage in Ultimate Team, where you have all these cornerbacks that are running 95 man, it's like, well, that actually like doesn't work too well. So I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just like the lack of communication, the lack of transparency that really bothers me, because fuck ups are going to happen. Like they're going to screw up, or they're going to put in bad gameplay fixes or whatever it is. But when they don't talk to us about it, when you have issues going on and there's no response, like the solo battle glitch that went on, where it was just a recent one where like you played a solo battle and like you didn't play as your team, and then it counted as a do not finish at the end of it. Like as a no money spent guy, I rely on solo battles, and sure, they made up for it. Like they gave us a make right afterwards, but it took them 2 days to say anything about it. And I like sent them video proof. I tweeted at EA help. I submitted a ticket on the support stuff. I did all that and didn't hear anything from them. And all of their customer support.
Well, EA help is that's not gonna do much. It's just I agree. Like, why do we have like 5? There's also like 5 MUT Twitter accounts that could definitely get cleaned up. I don't know why there's like so many different ones tweeting. Like, it would be cool if there was more of a direct line of communication, I think, to them for Madden Ultimate or for Madden in general, because help is realistically not going to be doing anything. Like, you like what you said about them working overseas. I was watching Gutfox's video today, and he was like he like had that screenshot of the guy's conversation with EA help, and it's just they're not doing anything.
But is Aaron Donald your favorite player? People like ask you that, like who your favorite player is 100 times. It's like that has nothing to do with the fact that I didn't get what I'd played for or something like that. I don't know. That's the biggest frustrating. And they like don't even let Kralo be Kralo. I don't know, when he was doing like back in the day when he was doing the show with like Farrells and not Gibbs and everything, like they were very like, I don't know, I guess relatable is a word you could say, or just like candid in the way they talked about the game and talked about, the content and everything. And it just feels like he just can't be like that anymore because EA just doesn't let him, working for the big company behind the big wall. They just don't let him. And to me, that's really the issue with it. The tools are there. They just like won't implement them. They won't.
Yeah. It could be such a good game. It would be, a shame. Maybe I'll go talk some sense into them. Their offices are 30 minutes away from where I live.
Are they
the
really?
main one?
I didn't know that they were headquartered in Canada. That's actually really interesting. That the company that makes all the American sports games is actually located and headquartered in a different country. That's
I'm 99%. It should be in Burnaby. I'm 99% sure. But
I have no idea where that is. I'm just gonna guess it's 30 minutes away from you, like you said.
Yeah.
Hopefully for next gen, even though sadly we're not going to get it until December, like there's going to be a change there. I don't know, when did you start you said you started playing like Madden 12, right? So you've been playing for a while. There
was a generation shift that I played through. I remember my friend got a PS4, like I said, PS4 over Xbox, but my friend got a PS4. I was still playing on Xbox 360. And that was a huge change graphically. I don't know if it'll be as big of a change graphically this time because it's already pretty realistic. Like my grandpa comes downstairs and is like, "Oh, I didn't know there was a game on now." I'm like, "Grandpa, just play the game."
I don't even think it looks that good graphically. I'm surprised.
Yeah, but so I don't know if we'll have that type of like huge graphics change, but hopefully there's some cool stuff. I think they're gonna go really hard on the content when that comes out. Because how many other games are there for people to play? Everyone's getting the PS5, and I don't know what other if there's going to be a ton of competition
or Xbox.
My mistake. But so I think they'll go hard on the content to try and attract people into the game, and hopefully they have like some really cool sales on it to get more people. This is more talking from a YouTuber's perspective, but like content will be good for everyone that plays Ultimate Team. Gameplay, I don't know. Could you see a ton changing over the changeover?
Well, I thought Madden 25 changed dramatically. Madden 25 was the game that was currently out at the time when it went from 360 to Xbox One or PS3 to PS4. And I thought it was an entirely different game during that change, which is what has me hopeful for the game changing fairly dramatically when we go to the Xbox Series X or PS5. I thought like that was like the introduction of the one cut system. They didn't have that in Madden 25 before that. I don't, at least I don't think. I could be mistaken on that, but players didn't like, if you go back and watch old gen Madden videos, players were able to like swerve all up and down the field, kind of like if you had what's the ability, the joystick one, human joystick. That's basically that's basically what it felt like every player had on last gen. And when you switched to, I feel
like I kind of remember that for some reason. For some reason, I feel like I do kind of remember that.
It was just like such
a Archer, maybe, or am
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Could be wrong.
But
yeah,
it was just like such a
if we
big
get a big
change.
change, that would be.
So,
I feel like a
that's
big
my hope.
change is it can't be like unless they break it drastically. If they change the meta a little bit, I don't think it's a bad thing. The learning period's always fun, and you're not really going to be going up against like the same thing every time. I think that could be cool if they change the meta a bit, but like we'll see. Honestly, I have no clue what they're going to do because they haven't told us anything. But
They
we'll
did
see.
say they said what, like more information to come soon. I don't know. I feel like we'll get a meta shift by default, like the blitzes that people are using, the disengage,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I feel like that won't work, just
Yeah,
because
I
of
don't know.
some gameplay changes that I'm sure they've made like while coding that game as a new game. And so people have to refigure out that like what runs are the best or what routes beat man coverage. I'm sure you'll still have your default like slant routes and stuff, but will corners get the same separation? Do out routes still beat shading inside? Like all that kind of stuff is things that people will have to figure out, and it'll be like a refresh almost on the game, where it's not like entirely new, but you have to relearn some stuff, and ebooks will change slightly, and hopefully I think there'll be some good changes in store. At least that's my thoughts.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I think I trust they're not going to make it like terrible. So I have hope they'll be improved, and I don't think it's really like I don't think it's that bad. Obviously, like there's probably going to be some people that come in my head for saying that it's not that bad. Like when I play the game, most of the time I'm having a decently good time to like a fun time if I win. But yeah, that's my opinion on it, I guess.
So what have your thoughts been on Most Feared so far? Right, as we're recording this, we are 2 releases into it. We have Scary Strong and Scary Sharp. So what are your thoughts on the promo, how the content's been, and like what are your expectations or hopes for the rest of it?
One thing I would say in terms of like the content is I feel like every promo is starting to feel too similar. Like this is kind of going back to last year, how like the set structure is and the way the master cards come out. I hope they get like a little bit more creative with some stuff in the future. Like one thing that I thought was really creative with those like those drive packs, those 1 touchdown drive packs. I forget what they're called, but like stuff like that. Like I would love to see more creativity from them from the promos. Like I think the card choices have been fine. I think that the card choices are going to be better as we continue to go on with Fast and Tall. So like cards wise, I think they're fine. I just hope they change up the structure or creativity of some of the promos in the future. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It seems like they've got this like system where they know exactly how it's going to affect the market. And I feel like everything they do, every decision they make in Ultimate Team is like determined by or dictated by how it will affect the market or what they want to do with the market.
I agree.
And so they've got this system. They're like, we know it works. We know if we do a master set with 4 cards and you get back 2 of them nat, we know exactly what that's going to do to the market and how it's going to change it. And we'll be able to keep it relatively the same, and the alternate currencies and how that affects it. Like,
and then like the quarter training for the nats, and
I totally agree with you. Everything's starting to feel the same. And I'm trying to think of like some old promos that were way different. But honestly, like nothing really comes to mind unless there's any specific examples that you can think of. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of the head. Obviously, we're not the ones getting paid to make the changes, but off the top of my head, I can't really say there's anything that I know they should do to change it. I think they could maybe for the master sets, they can make it more of a master set. So maybe you need to collect every single card that came out or something like that to get it in instead of just the top ones. And then, I mean, I don't know. I think there's definitely ways they could change it. I think that they should be doing more with house rules. I really liked house rules last year a couple of times. I don't know if you remember playing at the start of the year with the 89 to 90, I think it was, Superstar MVP. I forget what they were called last year, where you could get like
heroes, right?
Yeah. Oh no, not MUT Heroes. It was like you could get who were the cards? Harrison Smith, Zach Ertz, Patrick Mahomes, and Odell.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
That one. So like that house rules is like one of the only ones I can really remember like being like, okay, I want to get this back. I'm gonna play all the house rules until I get it. So I think house rules they could improve upon a little bit, which would kind of add some more depth to some of the promos. But yeah, I think they need to change the sets up a little, the set system a little bit for some of the promos. Hopefully, like they can get some creativity with those. But yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't get any sort of uniforms. Like even within the solos, there are uniforms that the opposing teams are playing with that you can see. It's like why can't we get those? You know, like and they're gimmicky and it's kind of I'm kind of, bitching about semantics and small things here, and I get that. So it's not like I'm dramatically upset that we don't have Halloween style uniforms, but it's like these little things that I think add up and they go a long way. Or like solo battles. I thought they did one cool thing where like the featured solo battle this week is against like the scary tall or scary small and scary big players. So like you're actually playing against kind of like the really big or really small players, and like that's different. It's fun, but like what if they did, how Warzone has like the new nighttime mode or whatever they do? What if they had like some sort of nighttime like feature within the crowds, or like the fans were wearing costumes or something like that, instead of just like the stock footage that they throw on top of the fans now
when they all move the same way at the same time.
Yeah. And I don't want to be the guy that's like, we need to determine the hot dog prices and the vendor sales in our connected franchises. Like, obviously,
low-key, I used to like doing that though. I used to like doing that though. I'll be honest with you. I used to be that guy that would go through each of them and change them.
I mean, if you can't, like, if it's in the game, great. I'll never be the guy to complain that it's not in the game, but I guess I can understand where people are coming from when they say like they want features like that. I don't know. To me, it's just like these small things add up for like a way better experience. And Halloween is probably one of the best times to do any sort of promo like that. I'm glad it's like, a 2-week promo or whatever it's gonna be by the time it's over. And I like how they release it in parts, so you're not like too overwhelmed.
Yeah, I agree.
I
know some people that say they don't like the parts.
Really? I'm surprised.
Yeah, some people say they don't like parts. It used to not be parts, but they've really started spreading it out more, which I don't mind. Give us more to do.
It could just be really overwhelming when they release like so much stuff into the game, and you're like, where the fuck do I even start? But I guess that's where we come in as YouTubers.
And we know what to do first. Do this right now. Do this secret thing right now.
Make sure you're like shushing the camera in the thumbnail so people think it's really mysterious and secret.
Yeah. Classic.
I don't know, but I just think there's a lot of opportunity there, but they seem to be lacking a little bit. I generally like the players. I'm not going to complain about the players. I think the players have been really good, so that I guess that's a big plus.
Yeah, I think players have been good.
But I
see where you're coming from for sure. With the little things, like it's sometimes I just wonder how many people are working for them. Like if you follow, I'm sure you do. You follow like Director on Twitter. Like he's one guy whipping up like all those cards and all those card arts for like every single promo. And if he's just one guy that can do that, I don't know how many people he has on their team, but like it seems like they should be able to do more, but I don't know, maybe they just don't do any work.
Which, by the way, the card art this year, or at least for the most feared promo, has been sick. Like,
yes, I agree. The card art has been
so
great.
much about the card art.
I know.
Man. It was like going to be a disaster. Everyone was pissed about it. I can't believe they're doing this with the cards, the 50-50 or 80-20 or whatever they're doing. Yeah. And everyone freaked the fuck out, and then it came out of nowhere. I thought it's amazing. It's been so sick.
I thought a lot of the stuff has been good this year, card art wise, in my opinion.
I gotta say though, I do severely miss MUT heroes. I think probably the team affinity or like the team builders has kind of replaced it, and so we essentially have the same content. There's like a star player for each team. Like the Bears got the Kyle Fuller set or whatever it is, like the DK Metcalf, that kind of stuff. So we essentially got the same thing, but there's just something about that MUT hero card art. Like the Aaron Donald last year, that was so nice. So cool.
Yeah. They should have people like, I'm sure there's like cartoonists that would do that, but
I guess
some of these coming from
they didn't want to do this year, unfortunately. But who knows? Maybe next gen will, like, since it's coming out so late, not till December, and the Super Bowl's in early February. Maybe they'll continue content longer this year, and I'm not even talking about just longer than last year, because obviously last year was incredibly short, but longer than normal. In the sense that like that's like a rebirth, almost like a fresh start, and it's coming in December. So hopefully that gives them a push to do it longer into the year. But I do have one last question that I wanted to ask you. Obviously you're a very Madden oriented guy. You have a very small niche in what you post on YouTube, but I'm genuinely curious, like based on your other passions or what else you enjoy to do or enjoy in your free time, if you could be a content creator for anything besides Madden, and kind of start over while still being, a big YouTuber or well-known in some space, what would it be? What would you choose to do?
That one's tough. I would say maybe like something to do with like entrepreneurship. I used to start these little, like, not little, but like drop shipping websites back in the day. I don't know if you know what that is, but
Yeah,
I
you're
started a
drop
few of
shipping,
those.
man.
They
Okay.
did, yeah, they did decent. One of mine did good, and I sold it for a little bit. So definitely something like that, because I like still like teaching people about stuff. That's why I kind of like my videos. It's a little bit like fulfilling, I guess, like to teach people about it and get like a comment like, "Oh, I just made so many coins," or "I just built my team up to this. Thank you." So it would be kind of like that, but I guess in real life, making people money. So I think that'd be something that I would probably make my channel on. Also, the CPMS are crazy. I wasn't thinking about it at the start, but as I continue to talk about this, I've seen some of those people like make videos like how much I make with this many views, and it's like $20 CPM. Are we
Holy
serious?
crap! Are you serious?
Yeah, it's
That's insane. For anyone who doesn't know,
realistic.
CPM is essentially what per thousand views,
Yeah,
how much you're making per thousand views, and that's per thousand views that where an ad is run. So it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, this person has 20,000 views and they're making $20 CPM. So clearly they made $2,000 on the video or whatever.
yeah,
It's more so like, was there an ad run or people using ad blocker, that kind of thing. But that's crazy, 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 crazy
know.
high. That's interesting. So you
that
seem,
wasn't
you
what I
seem
was
kind of like a
thinking at the
hustler,
start.
man. You seem kind of like a guy who's
Yeah,
like
I'd say so.
just hustling out there, trying to make a buck, trying to make a living. I respect that.
Yeah, yeah. Good business idea for any you youngsters that are watching this. Barbecue cleaning. You can actually make. Me and my friend used to do that. You can charge people like $100 to clean their barbecue.
Interesting. Do you want to come clean mine? Because we have to clean ours before we shut it down for the
Sure.
winter. So if you
I'll
want,
give you my business card. Barbecue Busters was the name.
Barbecue Buster. See, even gave you a name. Even gave you a name, a business idea, and a rate to charge.
There you
Wow.
go.
I think we got to end there because I don't think we can do any better than that. But is there
Honestly.
anything that you want to plug? I mean, let us know like where people can find you: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it
Yeah.
is. What do you got going on?
Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. If you search me up on Twitter or on YouTube or Twitch, it's just put in SWIFTMadden or Swift YouTube and you'll find me. And then on Instagram at Ben Port, let me get some clout on there to flex with my friends. And yeah.
And I'm going to link all of Ben's links down in the description below. But Ben, thanks so much for coming on, man. It was great to get to know you, get to know
No
like your start
worries.
on YouTube. You start with football and everything. And it was great to learn a little bit more about you. I appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy episode 2 of the MUTCAST, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more episodes of the MUTCAST. Plenty more to come in the future. Hopefully got some great more guests coming on just like Ben in the future. But that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, thanks for stopping by.